Hi, family. Good day to all of you. Welcome back to our channel. Don't have the power to walk away. Suffering in silence. A lot of people don't have the power to walk away from what they have gotten themselves in. They're going to suffer in silence because they have too much pride. This is Prophetess Nikki G, and welcome back to our channel. I am so grateful that I get to have another opportunity to shed some enlightenment on some of the things that you may be going through with, or maybe you know someone that is so close to you that is going through these things. I pray that God's face will continue to shine upon all of my family here. May God continue to bless you and prosper you in every area of your life. Whatever your hands touch, God has vowed to prosper that. God said, wherever your feet tread, he said, I'm going to give you that place. You ought to rejoice and you ought to be exceedingly glad. I want you to know, family of God, you need to rejoice and you need to be exceedingly glad. You know, a lot of people, you can't be afraid to move when you need to move. And you can't be afraid to make that hard decision whenever you need to make it. You know, so many people have gotten themselves in messes that they don't know how to get out of. This is what it means when God tells us not to lean on our own understanding. Whenever you lean on your own understanding, you're going to get yourself in things that you're going to wish that you had never gotten yourself into. And then you're going to pray to God so much to deliver you and to get you out of these things. See, God tells us to acknowledge him in all our ways because he said, I want to be the one that direct your paths. He said, don't lean on your own understanding. He said, don't do what you think is right. He said, don't do what you feel is right. How do you know that you are being led by your flesh? How do you know if you're being led by the Holy Spirit? How do you know if you're being led by your emotions? You know God's voice if you are his sheep. My sheep know my voice, and a stranger you're not going to follow. That Holy Spirit that's on the inside of you is that still small voice, and it's going to give you some direction. It's going to tell you what to do. It's going to show you where to go. You got to have a relationship with God in order to have that Holy Spirit. A lot of people, family, they're going to suffer in silence because they're too prideful. They're too prideful to get out of what they've gotten themselves in. You can't be afraid to get out of something no matter what it makes you look like. It doesn't matter what people may say about you getting out of something that you know you shouldn't be in. It may not be healthy for you. You got to have enough courage. You got to have enough courage for yourself to get out of that because it's going to bring you nothing but hardship. You're not going to get anything good out of it. A lot of people have to learn that way. A lot of people, family, that are no longer affiliated with you, they had to learn that the hard way. They thought things would be so much better for them when they left your life. You know, we got to be careful with the moves that we make. Everybody, we all do. We have to be so ever careful. This is why you can't judge a book by its cover. You can't. You can't judge your life based on the circumstance of the present moment. Because why? Because your circumstances are subject to change. Everything about your life is subject to change. Everything about your life, everything is subject to change. Everything about what you're going through with, it is subject to change. You're not going to stay in that. It is subject to change. And people are finding out that the hard way, that left your life, who were hooked up with you, family of God. It doesn't matter who these people are. They're going to suffer in silence because they're going to be so prideful. And they're going to look at their ego and what people think about them. And they're not going to want to get out of it, knowing that they need to get out of it. And they're going to remain in that place. If you ever gotten yourself in a situation that you know you shouldn't be in, don't care of what people will look at you as. Don't care of how people will view you. You get out of something that is not healthy for you. I know you may be saying it is easily said and done. You're not in my situation. You're not in my shoes. I can empathize with all of you. Trust me, I can. You have to put you first. You have to make you a priority. You can't wait on anybody in your life to make you a priority. You may never get it. You can't wait on anybody to make you first. You may never get that opportunity in the eyes of that person. You have to be a priority. You make you a priority and you put you first. You matter. You matter. And a lot of people who are no longer there, they're realizing this, family. God said the first will be last and the last will be first. God is bringing you from the back and God is going to put you all the way to the front. He is. God is making you not to be noticed.
You may have been in a season where nobody noticed you, family. You may have not been trying to be noticed, but it seemed like you were overlooked. You were shunned. You may feel like the black sheep, but no, you are preferred. Now God is going to let you know what that feels like to be preferred. A lot of you don't know what that feels like. A lot of you know what it feels like to be in the back. A lot of you know what it feels like to be dropped and to be forsaken. But God said, I will never leave you. I will never forsake you. Some people have gotten themselves in a mess, family, and they don't know how to get out of it. They have too much pride to walk out. Their pride is holding them in a bad place. You know why people's pride is holding them in a bad place? Because they don't want you to be right. They hate the fact that you are right. You tried to tell a lot of people. You encouraged a lot of people not to make these bad decisions. You tried to tell people what their end were going to be. You tried to tell these people, and they wouldn't listen to you, family of God. They were too prideful. They were leaning on their own understanding. And look, where leaning on their own understanding has gotten them. Don't lean on your own understanding, because you're going to find yourself in a hole, digging your way out of that hole, clawing your way out of that hole. No. These people are doing their best to stay in something that they hate to be in. They hate it where they are. They can't stand where they are. But because of what they will look like in the eyes of people, they're going to make a decision to stay there. They would rather stay in misery than get their feet together and put those feet in front of the other one and run for their life. You run for the hills if you have to. You run for your life if you have to, family of God. Don't you put your life on hold for anybody. You don't stay in something whenever you know it's not beneficial for you. It doesn't matter how long you've been in it. It doesn't matter how close you are with someone. It doesn't matter what bond that you think you've built. It doesn't matter the emotional attachment that you've had with somebody. Don't suffer in silence. People are suffering in silence because they don't want you to be right. You were right. And they hate the fact that you were right. So in order for them not to acknowledge that you were right, they rather stay in that so that you won't say that I tried to tell you, I tried to warn you, I tried to encourage you. They would rather stay in that and live with the devil. They'd rather stay there and live with Jezebel. They'd rather stay there and live with Ahab. No, family of God, you get out of that. Don't suffer in silence. It is dangerous to suffer in silence. You're not alone. Whatever you're going through with, I want you to know today that you're not alone. You're not alone. You may feel lonely, but you're not alone. It doesn't matter what people say. That I knew you wouldn't make it. I knew you wouldn't succeed in that. It doesn't matter what they say. You haven't fallen until you make a decision not to get back up. You know you can fail your way to the top, family of God. Don't suffer and hold your suffering on the inside. You don't have to suffer in silence. Reach out. God has given you people that you can trust. He has. Even if he's given you one individual that you can trust, that's somebody. But a lot of people who were connected to your life, my goodness, a lot of people, family of God, that you tried to forewarn, but they didn't want to hear your message because it was you that message was coming through. You tried to warn so many people. You did. You tried to warn people. You did your best to encourage people. You did your part. And they didn't want to take heed to your warning because they looked at you as absolutely nothing. They didn't value your opinion. They didn't value your counsel. They didn't value anything that you gave them because they thought that what you gave them was worth nothing. And they didn't think they would need your counsel, but now they need it. Now people wish they had have taken your counsel. People wish they had have taken your advice because now they are seeing, because they're in this situation, they are living in this mess. And people are now seeing that you truly wanted the best for them. You know, some people are going to learn the hard way, family. You know, and God doesn't want us to learn the hard way. Experience doesn't have to be our best teacher. But some people are going to have to hit their head so many times before they learn and before they wake up. And you know what, family? Some people aren't going to wake up. They're not. You got to be okay with trying to help somebody who don't receive you in the end. At least you made an attempt to do your part. Just do your part and you let things take its full course. And this is what's going on in their lives. Some people that you were hooked up with, that you were connected with, family of God, they're suffering in silence. They're suffering in silence because They refuse to take your counsel. They refuse to see it a spiritual way. They're not spiritual. These are carnal-minded people. And the Bible tells us to be carnally minded is death. It is enmity with God. It's an enemy of God to be carnal-minded, because the carnal mind is not open to the things of the Spirit. You were beating a dead horse with a lot of people. You were beating a broken drum. You were. You were trying to fill something that had holes in it. You can never fill anything that got holes in it. You can't fill anything that has a hole in it. You can't pour into people and fill them when they think they know everything. But they would tell you that you think you know everything. They were intimidated by your wisdom. You know, so many people are intimidated by your knowledge. They're so intimidated by the understanding that God gives you, and they will refuse your counsel. They will refuse it for these reasons. Now these people are wishing to God that they had walked a different path. You know, so many people are wishing today that they had chosen a different path because of what they are suffering with in their present life right now. But they will remain in that situation. A lot of people will. A lot of people won't get out of it. Knowing that they need to get out of it, they won't get out of it. A lot of people won't. Some will. But those who don't get out of that, those who make a decision to stay in that, they're going to stay in it because they don't want you to be right. In order for these people, it just kills people, so to speak, spiritually, even emotionally. It kills people to say that you were right. Just like it hurts people to tell you they're sorry, it hurts people so much to their core to apologize to you. They rather avoid you than apologize to you. Their life isn't going to go right. It's not. You know, God put people in our path to warn us. God put people in our path to help us on our journey. And God put you in the life of a lot of people to help along their path and along their journey. But they didn't want to hear you then, but they want to hear you now. Now you're not available. Now you're not there. And all they have is that voice that they hear. They hear your voice. I'm telling you, family, these people hear your voice. They hear the instruction that you were led to give them, but they didn't want to take your heed. They didn't want to take heed to the instruction that God gave you to give them. They didn't because it was coming from you, but they took that same ungodly counsel from somebody else. Now look at their life. Their life is going to Hades so fast, just like lightning. They rather suffer in silence than do what is best for them. People rather suffer in silence than to do the right thing. Don't suffer in silence. Don't have pride. Care not of what people think. If you fall and get back up, God said a righteous man falls 7 times, but he's going to lift you back up. Every time you fall, God is going to be there to lift you back up. You haven't fallen until you make that decision to never get up again. You have not failed. You have not. Until you make a decision not to get back up, family of God. You know, some people are suffering so bad. They're suffering so bad. They are. And they know what to do to get out of it, but they made a decision to stay in there. They made a decision to stay in there and stick it out and to suffer, thinking it's going to get better. It's not going to get better. Whatever God then ordained, it is not going to get better. You can stay in there as long as you can. But God is going to come there. He's going to blow that down to the ground. He's going to level it to the ground. He is. People are learning the hard way. They're learning the hard way, and they're so prideful. They're so filled with their ego. They don't want you to be right. It doesn't matter if they don't acknowledge that you're right. You're right because God gave you that counsel to give somebody, to save somebody from harm. Now they wish they had taken your counsel. Now they wish they had stayed where you were. Now people are wishing that they had not have turned left. See, you got to be careful with the devil because he's going to dress it up real good for you. He knows what you like and he knows how you like it. Just like God. God knows what you like and he knows how you like it, people of God. He didn't ask Adam anything about Eve. He didn't ask about her measurements. He didn't ask him anything. He created woman out of him. Isn't God something? God is a great physician. He is. And God's going to give you what you want and how you want it. You just stay humble and you stay obedient. And when God gives you people to give you some divine instruction, don't you push these people away. These people are in your life to save your life. These people are in your life to save you a lot of hardship. These people that were in your life, these people, some of them, they're under a lot of hardship. They're under a lot of hardship. They're going through so much lack. These people are going through so much loss. And they made it in their mind. They made it up in their mind. Well, I might as well stay where I am because they feel like it's easier to stay there than to walk away and start over. They're afraid to be alone. Don't ever allow that spirit of loneliness to rest on your life. Whatever you do, family of God, don't be afraid to be alone. Because even if you have somebody with you who's not beneficial to your life, you're still alone. You're still doing it all by yourself. And these people are seeing that where they are. They may be connected to someone, but they're connected to no one at the same time. They're not. They're not going to make progress. Don't be afraid, family of God, to walk alone. You have respect for yourself. And you walk alone if you have to. You have boundaries. You have standards. People hate you for your standards. People don't understand why you have standards. Because you have them. Certain things that people can't do with you. Certain ways people can't handle you. They're saying that. Don't let people take your standards, family. Stand on them. And don't be afraid to suffer if you have to suffer alone. These people are suffering in silence because they were afraid to do the right thing. They were afraid to walk away. A cowardice spirit, afraid to walk away. So they say, I'm going to suffer. I'm going to stay in this knowing that I need to run for my life. I'm going to stay in this and suffer because I'm afraid to walk away. They're afraid to go because they're codependent on whatever they chose. God never wanted us to be codependent on anything or anybody. God wanted us to be dependent on Him and Him alone, not anybody else, family of God. We'll talk later. Love y'all so much. Thank you for what you do here on our channel. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share all of our videos. Keep liking our videos so we can continue to reach more hurting and broken people for God's glory. I'm so grateful, family of God, for your testimonies coming in. I thank God for the miracles that you're facing. The miracles that you're enduring. I thank God for that. I thank God for the breakthroughs and the healing that God has given you. I thank God for how that book, Becoming a Master of Divine Consciousness, is blessing your life and the lives of your friends and your family members. I'm so grateful to hear that. I'm so grateful. Thank you for what you do here. All of your prayers, your acts of kindness, we're so grateful to you here. If you're new, welcome. Everybody's welcome on our channel. No profanity in the comment section of our videos. We are here to honor Yahweh and not our flesh. We're here to give God glory. Keep going, family of God. Keep going. The best is truly yet to come for all of you. I mean that. Don't suffer in silence. A lot of people who were hooked up to you, a lot of people who are part of your life, who are no longer part of your life, these people are suffering in silence because they're afraid to get out of what they have gotten themselves in. So they rather be miserable. They're codependent. This is what happens whenever you don't listen to the voice of God. You become codependent on that thing. And it's going to be hard for you to break free. This is why you can't be hooking up with everybody. You can't be connected to everybody. That's what a soul tie is. That's why you can't give yourself away. You can't give your vessel away to everybody, because everybody that's been with that person, now you are entertaining that. You're intertwining soul ties and everything that's hooked up on that person spiritually, because it's a spiritual soul tie. A spiritual soul tie. And it's going to take the power of God to destroy that spiritual soul tie. This is why whenever you get hooked up with people you shouldn't, and you leave and you go back and forth, it's like a push and pull. It's like a tug of war, because it's a spiritual soul tie. And it's going to take the power of God to destroy that spiritual soul tie. Don't hook up with people you ain't got no business hooking up with, family of God. I love y'all so much. These people are afraid to death to walk away what they know they shouldn't have never walked into. You hear me? People have walked into things that they know they shouldn't have walked in. But that is the judgment of God. They're going to suffer in silence, but this is your vindication. Thank God whoever left. Thank God whatever left. Thank God. This is a spiritual warfare. The devil's out for God's people. He's out for the people of God. He doesn't want you to get the things that God has for you. Stay focused and you keep moving. Don't you dare go back. There's nothing behind you that you need. We'll talk later. God bless you.